quite sure if I can see over these things. But my dad used to tell me I should grow another foot. I want to take us to the place where Professor Heinrich brought us to this morning, and that is that Amazing Grace, the song, the hymn, was not known in this country until fairly recently. 250 years we are honouring today, a fifth of that. Yes, a fifth of that it's been known in this country for, widely known. And so for people of my generation, we came to it in our teenage years. We came to it in a unique way, unique in the history of hymnody, really. And I'm fascinated by the way in which the hymn entered into British hymnody. It didn't appear in any mainstream denominational hymn book that I can find anyway, up until the middle of the 20th century. So if you grew up in a congregational church, or an Anglican church, a Methodist church, Baptist church, you were not singing Amazing Grace. You were singing a whole host of other things. You were singing Cowper's Over a Closer Walk with God, or John Bunyan's, I'm also from John Bunyan's church, Bunyan's Who Would True Valour See? Not He Who Would Valiant Be, by the way, that's a watered down version. Who would true valour see? Let him come hither. And yesterday I was talking about Cowper, Newton, and the legacy from John Bunyan that comes down through them. We were singing those, but we didn't know the song Amazing Grace. It wasn't in the mainstream hymn books, but neither was it in the Cliff College choruses, the Keswick hymn book. It just didn't appear. The first place that I can find it appearing for British singers was in here. Anyone remember this book? Yes, 1 and 2. Faith, Folk and Clarity. There was also Faith, Folk and Festivity, Faith, Folk and Nativity. And that put Amazing Grace, it's the second one in the book. It was published in 1967. And it was part of the folk revival of hymns. And it's published alongside hymns about homelessness, hunger, racism. It's published alongside hymns of hope for the future. It's published alongside Show Me the Prison, Show Me the Jail. So well-known and well-established campaigning songs and new songs being written about the drug culture, about prostitution. They're in here. It was not a very popular book among the people who were old Christians at the time when I was a young Christian. And what they said was, look here, they said, you've got Amazing Grace here, and it says copyright 1967 by Galliard Limited. And they said, don't you know, you stupid young people, that that's a very old hymn? And we said, yes, we do know. We're understanding that. The copyright was to that particular version of it. And there's a whole story to be told about copyright and the power that it gives people. But it was the folk revival. We were singing old hymns, old songs from many different cultures. But we were singing about homelessness, about racism, about the transformation of society. And what that does is to put Amazing Grace not among the hymns that we've been singing for 250 years or 200 years by then. It didn't suffer the fate of having been an established Christian hymn for all that time, sung by English congregations in English churches very po-facedly in the way that we sang many hymns. It came like a thunderbolt into our worship, and it was there alongside the social justice, liberation theology movement. It came in with the liberation theologies, black liberation theology, feminist theology, which is where, and womanist theology, those theologies where my heart lies, Latin American liberation theologies, and so on. So it put it alongside hymns by songs by Sidney Carter. It put it alongside When I Needed a Neighbour, Were You There? It was on a Friday morning when they took me from the cell. There wouldn't be an apple if it wasn't in the plan. It's God they ought to crucify. I said to you and me, I said to the carpenter are hanging on the tree. Very radical views of Scripture, hymns about Scripture. And so Amazing Grace came in with those. And so for my generation, who came to this hymn suddenly and dramatically at that time, part of its reception history is that it gained a certain street cred among the young people at that time. We thought it was a cool hymn and good to sing, as we were singing all the other things. But it also dislocates it from the establishment hymnody. And I think that does to it something fascinating, because it benefits by not having been tainted with the history of traditional hymnody. And I do believe that that gives it a certain freedom to be used as part of what you were saying, Anthony was saying earlier, that not everything that can be faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed without being faced. And the task that we share together is to face, from the Hymn Society particularly, what do we do about our hymns? I'm speaking next week about the hymnody of empire and colonial hymnody, and the verses that are neatly excised that actually talk about the colonialism of mission. There's a vast and deep task in decolonializing the legacy, the various legacies we have. And I wonder, in Amazing Grace, we have a text that might be an asset in that task because of the way that it has taken off right around the world. What we discovered when we were young was that we started singing Amazing Grace, fabulous, all those wonderful words. We discovered A, that the rest of the world had known it for years and years and years, and B, that it had a message that was rooted and speaks to the real lives of people. And so that's the legacy of Amazing Grace from this particular perspective, but I think it is, therefore, a liberating perspective.